Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to another stream. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'm doing just fine. Let's see, just making sure I have things on. and the things that I don't want you guys to hear aren't playing, such as a certain football game that's happening right now. I'm trying to find like a good playlist to play. And I was hoping that like Spotify would have something for me, but like they don't. Also, hello, Kalino. I hope you're having a good week. Like they have, I don't keep giving me like I feel like the like made for you playlists on Spotify are so such a dichotomy. They're either like really upbeat and hype or like real sad. There's no just like I just want to like hang. Like what's here? I mean, let's try this one. This one looks pretty good. Last night, as I was going to bed, how am I feeling? I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. I'm a little stuffy. It's been cold, you know? And it's starting to warm up and I feel like that's not doing a lot for my sinuses. Not doing great for my sinuses. Enjoy my practice sheet to see if things were kind of in the middle. They were kind of in the middle. I move a lot, so it's hard to keep this page in the middle. Hopefully I keep it in the middle as much as I can. Yeah, I've been doing all right. I'm doing okay. Definitely been better, but definitely been a lot worse. Trying to think of what I want to do here. If I want to make this itty bitty or big. I feel like it's easier to do things big to start with. So let's just make this like... I kind of want to work on my edges though. But I don't really have to do anything if it's on this side. Let's do like the bottom of a continent. Hey, Jamie! What's up, my guy? How have you been? I definitely have like another one of these pens, and I definitely have like multiple of these pens. I very much recall buying a pack of these, and I know it's not those because these don't have a pattern right here. And the ones that I like bought new um have a pattern here, but I have no idea where I put them. But this is my older series of pens. I have two of these, and they're definitely a few years old, and I'm feeling it. In the same boat as you, yeah. It's kind of been that kind of week, honestly. Month. It's November. Did you guys know it's fucking November already? Because I sure was shocked to look at the map and be like, oh, it's October 30th. Hello? Since when? I was like finally accepting that it was like October like 14, 15, and then suddenly bam. So much ink on the tip. Oh well, we're just gonna have to deal with it. Let me just do this. I feel better connecting the dots than I do freehanding it. I'm gonna have to make that work. Oh well. It's yeah, it's been a week. Honestly, I was having a pretty all right week. Like I was feeling like anxious and things like that, but you know, part of the course at this point. Um but I have issues with anger, and so I have to be really conscientious of how different situations are making me feel, so I don't get overly upset, um which I like to think I do a fairly good job of it. But aside from current events, which just have me in constant flux of feeling some kind of way, I uh I was not expecting such major and honestly devastating Destiny 2 news this week. And I was planning on playing a lot more Destiny this week. And then news broke of the layoffs, and that had me upset because just in general, gaming studios have had so many layoffs this year. And honestly, just the tech space has had so many layoffs in the past year and a half, which has me constantly concerned about my friends in both industries. But yeah, it very much has had me like not in a mood to play Destiny 2 to say the least. It's been a while since I've done Cliffsides. So I don't know how I feel about some of these edges, but that's why this is called practice. Because sometimes you just don't do things for a while and you have to kind of get back into it. That news, indeed sad news, yeah. I'd be very upset. I fucked up so bad there and I don't know what to do about it. Um I'd be very upset. And yeah, not really in a huge mood to play Destiny 2. Um I thought I'd like because they've like laid people off before, and like while I've been upset about it and sad about it, I've been a little bit more accepting about it. But this particular layoff felt so malicious in comparison to previous layoff sprees. It's been kind of difficult to reconcile with that. For me, at least. Man, do you guys ever realize that you guys just don't write a lot with your with the pen and paper? Because I would definitely feel the muscles that I use mostly for writing working out right now, let me tell you. And honestly, even today, the TWAB annoyed the hell out of me. It's a lack of accountability for me, you know? Like, I have no ill will, no ill feelings for anybody out there, like, working on the game. Complete and utter ill will to the entirety of the executive board. The fact that the TWAB was relegated to team members working on the game instead of one of the execs stepping up and writing it themselves and making it like their press release. That pissed me off. Because right now, I think that's where a lot of the ill will is towards the game and towards the company, not towards the workers. And with the way that they've been putting their foot in their mouth, it's like, man, wouldn't have this been the perfect time for you to just like come out and talk? Like, because no matter what they said, it was gonna be bullshit, you know? Like, there's no really redeeming the situation. All you can do is just work at trying to repair the gap. And for the people working on the game who have clearly been voicing their opinion on ways to fix the game for the community to feel better about it, for them to be the ones that are just like, yeah, and we're gonna work better to make Final Shape the best it could possibly be. I'm like, yeah, obviously you're gonna want to do that. You're the ones who've been advocating for that. I want to hear from the jerk faces in fucking suits who decides, you know, who gets paid. I want to hear from them and hear why they didn't allow you guys to do that in the first place, you know? I feel like I need to do more cliff practice because, oh boy. Like, parts of this is like a little bit like riding a bike, and the rest of it's just like trying to remember why I do certain things. It was starting to get scratchy, the pen. I don't know how big this is, but it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, so that's had me in quite a fluctuation of emotions this week. Overall, not the worst thing I've ever done, but like also not the best thing I've ever done. So we just gotta live with it. Oh my god, I thought the I thought the dragonfly at the top of the screen was my hand. I was shaking it out. I was like shaking it out like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can see my hand up there? Spoiler alert, no, you cannot. Hold on. Sorry, I have my whole ass arm in the way. I just wanted to move the cam down. But yeah, so that's how I'm feeling about that right now. I'm generally unhappy with how the situation has been dealt with. And to be, I've given Bungie so much leeway for the actions they've taken over the past year and a half, too. Like, they definitely were in my good graces. I cannot say that they still do. I feel like they've eaten up most of that good grace with this latest announcement. Like, legitimately, Final Shape has to be very good for me to consider staying along with Destiny 2. Before, it was no question whether or not I was going to stick around after Final Shape. It was like, oh yeah, obviously. But now it's like, I'd like to stick around. I like Destiny. But if this is a glimpse into what is coming with the future, I don't know. You know? I don't know. I wanna but yeah, so I spent like the week trying to figure out like what to stream. I was actually gonna stream Vault Hunters. Now that I've got the server working again. But I found out that they are about to like put out their next big update, which I'll be honest with you, I've left the server at like the very first or second update of Vault Hunters. And of like update 11. They've had so many updates in update 11, and every single one of them is a content update. The game looks different now. But update 12 brings in the like quote unquote end game. The final vault, what happens when you collect all the artifacts. But I believe they still have plans to create like a prestige sort of system after the fact. And I don't think that's in this next update 12. Which is fine. They've been like working hard for about an entire year now. I think over a year now. I mean, obviously over a year because they released Vault Hunters 3 in progress. You know what? Maybe this would be a good place to kind of create some like rockiness out here. That'll help cover up the issues. But yeah, so I was gonna do Vault Hunters, but then that dropped. Literally, as I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, I could do Vault Hunters instead. That'll keep me distracted for a while. And then I hear the boop. And then I'm just like, all right, who was it? Who did it? Who put up the message? And it was like, oh, we're about to release update 12 tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my gosh, all right, well, I guess I'll wait on that. And then the next day they were like, all right, well, due to some issues, we're not actually gonna update tomorrow. We'll keep you up to date as to what's happening. And then and then after that, they were just like, well, there's some issues going on, and it's taking a little longer to fix them than we thought it would. So instead, we're just gonna tell you that it's coming, and we'll keep you updated. Next time I post here, it'll be for the update. And I thought it was just very funny. Oh, I kind of went overboard with the... Oh, well, this will just be a rocky area. A clippy area. We'll just pretend this is like Ireland. Dang, have you been on the server as of late? I went on a couple of weeks ago, I think. Like a week or two ago. After I figured out what the issue was with the server, which wasn't a server issue. It was an issue with the Oracle Cloud. The connection between that and the server was severed because I had to do some stuff to update the cloud server, and I did not think about having to I did not realize something unplugged between the server and the cloud. So I had to just reconnect that, and it all worked out, which was annoying, let me tell you, because all it was literally just like hit F5. But in like the code, which was fine. It just was annoying. I spent so much time troubleshooting, thinking it was the server, and it wasn't. It was just a connection. But yeah, I've been on the server as of late. I went in like last week or the week before. Honestly, time's a little wishy-washy for me, but it was around those times. I hate to see like what version we were on. Because what version? They're on like version 8 or something. Let me see. Oh no, they're on 11. What is this? 11.3.4? They have such a fucky way of doing updates. Or like their update numbers. Oh, because it's version 3. Okay, so it's Vault Hunters 3, patch 11, sub patch 4. That's crazy that it's 4 updates so far, because every time I read their stupid patch notes, they're like 3 pages long. Like the person who's in charge of the server, or like the entire mod pack, Iskal, recently he started a series in collaboration with a different server he's on, called Hermitcraft. No, yeah, we're still on 11. We're still on 11. We're on like 11.2, I think. But they do their patch notes as like, we're in Vault Hunters Season 3. We're in update 11. And we are in a sub patch. We're in sub patch 4 now. Not to mention all the sub patches, such as 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. We're currently in 3.11.4. Or that's where they are. They're about to update the 12, which I'm assuming it's gonna be 12.2 by the time we get it out. We get it. Or maybe 12.2 is how they'll name it. We're in 3.11. We're in 0.1. I never updated it to 2. 2 must have been, so they've changed how the loot inside of the vaults work. It's a little bit more streamlined. We talked about it a little bit. It's a little bit more streamlined now. And which is nice. The problem is and there is no problem is the problem. It's just there was just a lot of like little issues that they were having with that patch that I never felt comfortable updating. Because it had to do with the loot inside of the vault, so I didn't want to fuck with that. And then I got distracted by other things, so I just never did the update. And then they were already pushing for a 0.3 update after that, so I was just like, well, I guess I'll just wait for that. But with 12, I think it's going to be a quick it'll be a quick update as soon as I hear there's no catastrophic issues with the patch. I'll update the server because I'm excited to get back to it. I was excited prior to all the Destiny news. Destiny news is just kind of has kind of just made that interest a little bit more. But yeah, so that's something that'll probably be coming back to the channel also, doing some Vault Hunters, which is always a lot of fun. For those of you who don't know what Vault Hunters is, it's a Minecraft mod pack, essentially, that completely changes the game, essentially. Like, it's still Minecraft in, you know, in the way that that's how you still play the game. You mine and you craft. But what makes it interesting is it kind of changes Minecraft into a roguelike. And instead of like your goal being like, oh, you know, go to the Nether, get the thing so you can then make some Ender Eyes, and then go to the end and defeat the End Dragon, and then you beat the game, smile. And then if you want, you could go do Wither things and stuff like that. And after that, you know, world's your oyster. And now you just build. It becomes a roguelike where you have all these new blocks that you use to like make better gear that you can only find inside of these things called vaults, hence the name Vault Hunters. You create a portal where the only way to get into vaults is to get the key, and the key is essentially this crystal that you have to infuse with items um, to make it powerful enough to open this vault. And then once you open the vault, inside is a slew of a bunch of different kinds of mobs, a whole lot of unique loot that you can only find in vaults, and also have objectives inside the vault that give you extra loot on top of the loot you find inside the vaults. However, you have a limited amount of time before the energy inside the crystal diminishes and locks you inside the vault forever, hence killing you, and having you lose all your things. So it's a fight against the clock to finish the objective and also find enough loot to kind of like hold you over to the next vault, or to get you closer to your next overall objective. Because the overall objective is to get enough artifacts to open up the final vault, which is like a gauntlet that you have to overcome to beat like the final boss. But in a true roguelike manner, that's not like the end of the game. You can continue playing after that. That's just like a nice little objective for people who need to have some sort of end, to feel satisfied with their time spent in the game. And so it's still in beta, so it's constantly getting updates. There's an entire team that's working on it, and plenty of beta testers to constantly help them out with not only new ideas and new concepts, but also in figuring what the bugs and glitches are. Because it also creates an entire tree of abilities, talents, and expertises to help amplify your fighting prowess. Because like I said, there's a lot of new enemies inside vaults, and vaults become progressively more and more difficult based on the level that you are at. And there's a bunch of different mobs. Some of them are boss mobs, so you want that single target damage. A lot of the time, it's just a lot of mobs in an area that you have to deal with quickly to get to the loot. Break the chests or whatever, get the loot out of there, and like continue on room through room until you are ready to leave the vault. And it's a lot of fun because it's so many abilities and talents and expertises, all that assists you with not only just quality of life things, but also with creating a unique playing experience. Because it also adds new weapons, new basically enchants for these weapons, and new tools that allow you to kind of customize your experience inside a vault, based off of what you prioritize and what you think is better for the situation. But really only being able to modify those things with items you can only find inside the vault. So it's like a nice little loop of wanting to go into vaults, breaking, getting the loot you need, and then creating things to further further your experience in the game. And you only get these artifacts, by the way, by like the end crate, so you have to finish the objective in the vault, which is not always A, doable, and B, not always your priority inside vaults. And with the like small degree percentage to get one of these artifacts inside one of these crates, it means you're going to be running a lot of these vaults, even outside of just, the gameplay loop. Which makes it interesting. Oh my, I can't see OBS anymore. Smile. There you go. Oh, you can kind of see the dots. That was mostly going to be my question there. But yeah, so that's Vault Hunters, and that's what I've been interested in playing here recently. But like I said, I found out that there's a new update coming out, and honestly, this is what always happens with me and Vault Hunters, is that there's always an update I kind of want to play. I started real large on that one. That's just going to be the big one in the middle. I always have a hard time trying to figure out exactly how to get the illusion of trees to be better. Hey, Prax, you're gonna leave a lurk? I gotta head to bed so you can try and salvage tomorrow. Good luck, Kalino. Thank you so much for the lurk. Have a good night, friend, and I'll talk to you later. And thank you so much, Prax, for the Prime sub. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's so funny. So the Steelers Titans are playing right now. And it's what I have in my ear, essentially playing while I do this. And it's funny because I don't like the Steelers. They're in my top 3 do not like team. But like the Tennessee Titans pissed me off. They pissed me off last week. Was it last week? Maybe it was a week before when they put on their Oilers throwback jerseys. And I'm just like, excuse you. I was over it. Okay, I was over that, the Oilers weren't part of had been taken out of Texas. I was mostly over it. But then they had to go and open old wounds. Not only that, but U of H, University of Houston, they were doing like their own little throwback thing for 'tis the season for Halloween. So they were gonna dress up as like an old team. And they chose to do the Oilers because they were the football team, and they are a football team that we're gonna do it. And they got a cease and desist from fucking the Tennessee Titans to not wear the Oilers jersey, which is like just gonna be an off-brand Oilers jersey. It's just gonna be the colors. And I was like, I cannot believe the audacity. Just like, I don't care that you bought them and took them from us. And it's like, they're not yours. Smile. You only had them, what, like 2 seasons? 3 seasons before you guys rebranded? Anyways, I'm mad at the Tennessee Titans right now also. Last week, yeah. I'm mad at them right now. Not friends. So having the game, I'm just like, I don't feel like rooting for either of them. I kind of want to see both their follies. See, this is where being almost IP lawyer means, oh, look, that trademark is up for renewal, so they have to prove that they are still using it in commerce and make sure that no one else uses. Yeah. Like, I get it. That doesn't make me any less upset at them. I'm like, you're never gonna use the Oilers anymore. You're not the Oilers anymore. It pissed me off too. Yeah. Like, you're never gonna use it. They're part of our history. They're not your history. Anyways, I was over it and now I'm not. Now I'm angry at them again. It's like I'm in the 2000s all over. Cause it's a good jersey and they look good in it, and I'm just like, oh my god! And then seeing DeAndre Hopkins in it, which is I'm still so mad that they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. I was also mad about Deshaun Watson, but then that turned out to be the best move the Houston Texans have made in their entire lives on accident. So, like, pop off. Great timing on that one. But I'm so pissed that they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. It was one of my favorite teams having that one guy as the quarterback, DeAndre Hopkins, and then JJ Watt all in the same team. It was one of my favorite things. It was one of the more enjoyable years to watch as a Texans fan. I'm gonna commit to keeping like these little weird triangles. But I don't know if I like them or not. I'm trying not to make them look like the poop emoji. That's like my number one goal right now. Trying to make Forest like this makes me just want to go back and do just a squiggly line and then just squiggle in the middle of it so it looks like trees and call it a day. Kind of like if you've ever seen the Sword Coast map, how they do the Great Forest, the High Forest? Forget what it's called. I think it's the Storm Callers, Storm King's Giant, Storm Callers Giant, whatever that module was called. That map has a great picture of that forest style that I'm talking about. Storm King's Thunder? I think that's what it's called. But we're gonna keep trying because you know what this is? It's practice. If we're gonna keep this in and not scrap it immediately, we're gonna keep this in. Although I'm never happy with my forest in this style, at least. They always make me feel some kind of way, and it's not a happy kind of way. Hope you're having a good week, Prax. I can't believe I'm missing my other pen. That's just like this, but just different enough that I can notice it. Let's throw it in here. No, I do have another new pen there, but it's not this pen. I don't know where I possibly could have put it. I'll be honest with you. Don't know where it could have gone. Considering I almost never take them off this desk. I'm gonna take a drink of water before I forget. I've been so bad about drinking water this week. Last night I was watching I got kind of stuck right before I went to bed watching this this video editor and do we're gonna just keep on with it. and he was watching. Well, he does like trailers and stuff, but I was watching him watch music videos and comment on the editing styles of music videos, and the ones that caught my interest the most were his commentaries on Olivia Rodrigo's videos and Billie Eilish's videos. Because if you've never watched a Billie Eilish music video, they're very good. Billie Eilish music videos are very good. Big fan, 10 out of 10. Would recommend. And one of the videos I haven't watched a ton is, but I do enjoy, and I do enjoy the song, is Billie Eilish's NDA. And the music video, so Billie Eilish does a lot of oneers. And I say Billie Eilish does because she is very involved in the process of making these music videos. Um, from coming up with a concept to directing them, depending on the music video. Truly a visionary. And a lot of hers are oneers, so they're just one shot beginning to end, or like very long sequences that are very easily made to look like a oneer. So NDA in particular is such a good video because I think a lot of people listen to the song itself and have kind of a misconception as to what it's about. And NDA for the most part is about Billie Eilish and her relationship with her own privacy and other people's, and how her privacy is breached and broken all the time by people close to her and people she doesn't even know. For example, in the song itself, she speaks about how aside from just like normal people wanting to know her and be near her and be in her company, um and her general mistrust of people because of it now, she also talks about a stalker that she has, or I'm assuming multiple, and how she's had to navigate through that. It's actually a really, really sad, kind of sad song, even though it's kind of a banger. um, and so she talks about all of that. And in the music video itself, all it is her on this like long, like two-way road in the middle of like the desert somewhere, somewhere in California, I have to assume. And in this long stretch of road, in the middle of the night, she's just walking, illuminated by the moon. And so she's walking down it, just down the median or down the middle, along the hash marks. And as she's walking down it, intermittently and behind her, there's a flash of just a bunch of people not illuminated, all in black. Clearly just shadows of how she never has any privacy and there's someone always watching her. And there'll just be like flashes where they're behind her. And then when she turns around to look if someone's behind her, no one's there suddenly. And just sort of like, it's very creepy in that way, that it makes you feel very unsettled how they pop in and out, in these amorphous shadows. And as she keeps on walking, and then she has a bunch of cars go by her as she's going down this road. And I like, kudos to all the stunt drivers and her and the camera people and the entire crew, because that's scary shit. And so all these cars are coming down the road, and driving past her as the music gets like to sort of like the first chorus, um, or the first like intense moment in the song, into them all being out in the background and she's walking, and once again like these shadows come in and out from walking behind her, but this time closer to her. And as she nears the end of the song, um and in the chorus coming back again but just slightly variated, um the cars come back, but this time driving towards the camera as opposed to away. So it's even more terrifying. And then after they drive past her, instead of just like keeping going, they start driving around her. Again, kudos to her and the camera team because that's fucking terrifying, bro. And so, um, she he started commenting on that, and as someone who'd already watched the music video a couple of times, it was very exciting, like, kind of sitting there and waiting, just being like, "Ooh, when are you I can't wait for you to get to this point because I already know what part of this music video is gonna just surprise you and probably be your favorite moment." And the same thing with, like, Olivia Rodrigo's driver's license. I was like, "Oh, I know exactly what part of this video you're gonna like." But it was really nice I used to watch a lot more videos where people would talk about how things were filmed. Um, and, video making, video editing, stuff like that. I used to watch them a lot more often, but that's when I had way more aspirations for doing things on YouTube. And I was thinking today, as I said, with all of this like Destiny 2 nonsense happening or Bungie nonsense happening, um, I've been kind of curious, like what I would do a lot of after if I wasn't playing a lot of Destiny on Twitch. Because I do other things. I don't just play Destiny 2. In fact, I don't play a lot of Destiny 2, especially now. I used to play it a lot more before, a couple years back. When I couldn't stream it, when I played a ton of it. But like I talked about Vault Hunters, but like after Vault Hunters, what would I do? I heard somebody else talk about it, how they like to just like marry a game, play like they like to find a game they really enjoy and then, play that game almost religiously. Um and so I was considering. Sorry, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of doing a water feature next, but I don't know what I want to do here. Part of me was thinking about doing like a river running this way, because there's a little bit of an opening in the dots here. Not that the dots are really gonna stop me from doing anything or prevent me from putting in the water feature. I could do that. I could do like the river here and then do like sparse trees here, like a little bit more up here and then like sparse down here. Or maybe like have it coming this way and then have the trees here coming up around this bend and then become more and more sparse as we get closer to these hills. Do that, go this way. And then what would I do with it? I was just gonna come down, but if I come this way, it gives this a little bit more shape. I just have it end. Now let's do it. Let's start from here and just have it go somewhere this way. And then we'll do a few more trees up here. And not do the poop emoji. I was thinking today of doing... I remembered last night. Really, I remembered a lot of things last night. It's like I woke up. I remember that I wanted to, gosh, for how bright this piece of paper is, it is not very bright on camera. What is this? Looking for this. Hold on, I need to put my hand on here so I... Definitely want that. Can I zoom this anymore? Oh. I don't remember when, I don't know when this unzoomed. Yeah, now it's a little too bright. Okay, that's not too bad. The hardest thing is that I'm not... I feel like this would be a little bit easier if I were a little whiter. And I'm very much in my winter shade right now. But I feel like it would be easier if I were a little lighter to do the contrast between the very white sheet and my somewhat more melanated skin. Anyways. But yeah, I was thinking of doing... I remember last night talking about wanting to do more, or thinking about doing TTRPG things again. And honestly, when I was coming up with the scene, I was doing a scene where I would do I went back into the archives of my SSD where I have the update to my old folders from my old hard drive. And I found... So I've talked about the TTRPG channel that I was going to like be doing at the same time as I was doing PB Plays Inside back in the day. Which I ended up not doing just for mental health reasons, and but that doesn't mean I didn't have everything prepared for it. So going through was just like, wow, I forgot like how into this I was and how like prepared I was to do these things. I definitely made these too big, but we're just gonna pretend that that's just how this is over here. And so I went in there to try and find my old template for map making. Didn't end up using it. As you can see, I'm using the like the turtle things. The turtle overlay. I think I can pull this down even more. But it kept me thinking of, I keep making these circles way too fucking big. I was just like, maybe I would do more YouTube things instead of just 100% um Twitch things. And the easiest thing I can think of to like kind of like ease my way back into doing YouTube things is doing my elevator pitch series. Because I am nothing if not ripe with ideas. Constantly inspired by pop culture and songs and things like that. And usually that gets filtered into ideas for like fan fictions that I don't write, but do stick around in the old noggin for imaginary stories in my head. But the elevator pitch series would be super easy. But then it started getting me thinking. On TikTok, I've seen a ton of tutorials of doing the like that merge effect on what is it on? Is it on PowerPoint? The merge effect on PowerPoint and to make your presentations more fun. Yeah, exactly. Imaginary stories in your head are some of the best, exactly. And so I was just like, oh, it would be kind of fun to learn how to do like play around with the cool new things on PowerPoint. Because the last time I really maybe it isn't PowerPoint, maybe it's a different thing and that I just can't think about right now. I'm pretty sure it's PowerPoint though. But I haven't messed with PowerPoint in God, it's 2023, almost 2024. My junior year of high school, I think was the last time I really messed around with PowerPoint. I think I did a PowerPoint in college, but like it was the most basic bitch PowerPoint you could possibly imagine. That I ended up selling to somebody else when I left college. And look, it was for like a 101 biology course. It's fine. It wasn't even that good of a presentation. But they liked it and they were willing to pay for it. And I was like, okay, it's all yours, bud. Um, so I'm like, there's a ton of new toys on PowerPoint that I'm just like, I keep seeing. I also keep seeing things for Excel, but I don't know if I'll ever take the plunge to really learn how to use Excel or like the fun things on Excel, not just like data sorting. But yeah, I think the it might be a fun little goal, 2-in-1 skill, remembering how to edit videos and because I never used to storyboard anything. I kind of just like went with it. Or I would like do the talking and then I'd put something in the background. So maybe having the storyboard a presentation essentially, like actually do an elevator pitch or actually do a presentation of like a fun little idea. I watched a TikTok. I think it was one of Gabe what is it? Gabe Jabe Games. I think it's his handle. Um Gabe did a video in response to somebody responding to a previous video he did. And it was, God, what was it? You can't see me, but I have my eyes closed thinking real hard as to what it was, what the video was. Oh, it was, no, it wasn't that one. Gabe videos like pop up on my For You page sporadically. Like they'll just come in waves despite me following Gabe. Here it is. Oh, it was. It is. I love the idea of a big bad evil guy who just decimates a party and brings them back. It's just like, I didn't send you after me, the gods did. You lost, go home. Which he loved the line, so he made a TikTok performing it. But off of that idea, I started having ideas for villains, right? Or like what is perceived to be a villain. One of my concepts, one of the things that's constantly in my head is what defines a villain, what makes a villain a villain. And how often there are villains that aren't really villains, you know, they're just they're just characters that have different end goals than the protagonists. Like they don't do evil things sometimes, a lot of the time. They just kind of exist in the world where they have different goals, right? There's not really destruction, there's not really anything. It's just a potential, right? Trying to stop a potential disaster from happening. When other times there's like a very clear-cut villain, right? And a villain that does evil things. Which I feel like is a lot easier to write. So I like the idea of villains that are villainous. Like, why would somebody think they're villainous, right? Or trying to justify their villainy, you know, why they are a villain instead of justifying why they are not. Because I think a lot of the time it's just underdevelopment that causes that for a villain, or just someone who's not interested in writing a villain, which could not be me. Villains are so much more fun to write because there are boundaries with a villain, right? But they're different to that of a hero. A hero is a lot easier to just like, you know, write from point A to point B. Of just like, yes, they're gonna do everything for the greater good. And then every once in a while, you'll allow them to be a little selfish. And either you're gonna punish them or you're gonna let it slide. You know, that's up to the writer's discretion. With a villain, yeah, those boundaries are, but they're boundaries, but they're so much fun. Exactly. It's like with a villain, the boundaries, you know, they have their own, you know, how far they're willing to go for something. They know, what lines they're willing to cross, to achieve their goals. Like, oh, you know, one of the more prolific villains in the TTRPG space is Lady Briarwood, right? Lady Briarwood and Silas Briarwood, with the I would break the world for you, right? Which is why she's such a delicious villain, because obviously evil, obviously bad, did terrible things in Whitestone, etc. from the Critical Role season 1 series. But like, you know, seeing like in that moment you got to see her boundaries destroying the world to be together with her husband, B, that she's doing it all for her husband and herself, for their relationship and their love, as perverse as it may seem to us. And then, that everything that has been done for that. And that's what like is so delicious about that, because you find out, everything in that one moment. And that's what I love. I love a good villain who knows their boundaries, what they're willing to do, how far they're willing to go, and to know that they have an absolute reason. I love abstract concepts as goals for villains. Instead of just like a very much like, oh, I want to kill the king because fuck him, he was mean to me once. Like, okay, that's fun, but like have bigger aspirations in life. If you're gonna be evil, be evil for the right reasons. It's like you want to. A lot of a lot of people shit on God. What is his name? The Lizard Man from the Spider-Man series, because his ultimate goal is he's this brilliant scientist, a brilliant scientist who's worked so hard to create, the ultimate form, which are reptiles, which are dinosaurs. And it's like, this is peak performance. Why would everyone not want to be a fucking lizard or a dinosaur? Like, why would you want to be a boring old human when you could be a dinosaur? Obviously. He rewrote the entire human genome. There's a beautiful panel where it's like, you could have what is this you did this research, you could solve cancer with this research. And he looks at them, he's like, why would I do that when I could just make everyone dinosaurs? It's such a ridiculous concept for a villain and for a bad guy, and it's very Spider-Man. But it's the funniest thing ever because it checks off all the lists, right? Like, boundaries. It's like boundaries. Fucking, I am willing to just go above every tenet of what you should not do as a scientist. I am willing to I go against the consent of others to make them dinosaurs. And see, end goal, yeah, I could do all those things, but why would I when I could just turn everybody into fucking dinosaur? It's the dumbest thing ever, and I love it. I adore that villain. One of the reasons why I hate the Maleficent movie so much, they took the OG badass woman and made it all about her bad relationship with a man and SA. Yeah, it's so frustrating. And the thing is I hate it, right? If it were solely the relationship between her and God, Aurora? Is that the name of the princess in that movie? If it were between Maleficent and Aurora, I liked that relationship because it felt more complex than anything else in this, especially with her background of being the protector of nature, from the movie specifically, of nature and those that were unable to protect themselves. And that feels very much why she was attracted to, instead of being evil to Aurora, being a little bit enticed towards her, because she met her as a baby in the movie, and with her very incompetent fairy parents. And if it were just a story of a kingdom came in, broke their treaty, and began to ravage the lands, or something of the like, I don't know, something more interesting, maybe taking something from the magic lands. I can't, it's been such a long time, I don't remember the names of anything. If it were anything like that, it would have been more interesting, but the fact it was just like, oh, I fell in love, and then he, or Sleeping Beauty. I don't even know. Yeah, and then the OG fairies, it like, because they wanted to have a different narrative. Like, they could be good fairies, cunning and powerful, and still be bad at taking care of children. Like, they could still be all those things and just still not provide everything that a child needs. You know, how many people out there have very smart, competent parents that are for just not ever there emotionally for them? It's like, I feel like there's so many ways they could have gone with that movie and kept that sort of interesting, shown both sides of a villain, right? The good and bad side. The villainous side, and the part that they're still a human, or that they're still a person with complex feelings. And still be the villain. She still could have been the villain to the protagonist, right? Like, at the end of the day, she still could have been bad. Like, that boundary could have been too much, crossed too much for them. It was such a weird movie. I feel like it just shouldn't have been a Maleficent movie. It could have been just under a different moniker. There's nothing about the Maleficent mythos that I think married the series to that story, the story to that, right? Yeah, play up the differences between immortal, powerful beings. And you know what? With that, you can have the interesting, difference between, a more interesting conversation about good and evil, or, and where, like, morally gray lands on everything. And it's like, I feel like there's a lot of things they could have done, and they just chose not to, Um, and honestly, I'm sick and tired of the worst thing that can happen to a woman is to be assaulted, or to lose a child, or lose their innocence. That's such a tired narrative. And it's like, there's so many interesting, but they really glossed over it, right? They really glossed over the fairies. And they really just targeted the relationships, which is fine. It's just like, I feel like they didn't target the right relationships. Nor did it really truly serve the story. The origin story of Maleficent in the movies. Like, it is what it is. But there definitely could have been more interesting twist on it all. I think I need to add more trees. But yeah, so like villains are always very interesting to me in that way. Is that you're allowed to play with them. There's just so much more room to play with them to make them to have a villain still be a villain, right? Like to still have such an interesting story for a villain, but at the end of the day, still be like cool story, still illegal or still still a villain, Like, oh, now I understand why you're an evil fuck, but you're still an evil fuck, so we still have to stop you. But now let it be a cautionary tale. But I had after watching that video from Gabe, I was like, what if you just had what if you were doing just intel or whatever on like a villain's evil lair, and you have like this villain who's still like the main guy and the sitting on the throne, evil grr. But then all the quote unquote minions, everyone who works for the villain is actually like one of his like legitimate friends. It's one of those deals where one of the friends in the friend group, won the lottery, or in that case, stole the hoard from a kingdom or whatever, and was like, "Oh, fam, you don't gotta work anymore. Like, I got you here." And it's like, look, I'm rich now. We don't have to do that peasant shit no more. Like, we get to just work, and just like put a little bit of a twist on that idea of if one of us wins the lottery, our friends and family will be set for life. Because I have to imagine a lot of people, down with the bourgeoisie sort of deal. Honestly, I love with Brandon managed with Loki in the first Thor movie. Yeah, exactly. It was interesting. It's like, cool story, you're still destroying shit, like. And I think it's why a lot of people like just Greek mythos in general also. Because it's so messy, but they're all related in some way, which makes it even messier. Because connections between like family and friends is so much more than, it can't be overstated. The sort of relationship friends and family can have. And that sort of love. That's not just purely romantic. The way I couldn't remember the word romantic. It's like, I think it's what I don't like about superhero movies, especially in Marvel as of late. Aside from their sheer refusal to keep villains around and not A, make them an anti-hero, or B, kill them off. It's like they're like you can have such like some of the best book series is where you learn of the villain in the very first book, and like you don't really ever have to deal with them, or you never really deal with them until like the last book of the series. I say books because depends on how long the series is. You know, a classic three book, you know, 3 book sort of arc. Probably like second half of the second book or entering the third book is when you really start dealing with the big bad evil guy. 12 books in the series, you know, probably somewhere between 9 and 10. With a lot of like small enemies or bad guys through the middle. It's like, which is honestly what Marvel is just having a bajillion books. Um, but like there's never a culmination of anything with their villains. Not anymore. It's just like we have 1 3-hour movie that introduces us to the main issue, and then that's that. And then there's the villain, and then they're defeated, somehow killed, and then we're done. Good guy saved the day, and we're all safe from the big bads. And it's like, no. That's why Loki was interesting, because we had him in the Thor movie, and then he ended up being one of the bad guys in the first Avengers movie. And we understood his motivations. And it's what made it easy to have him be a villain in the first Avengers movie. And then and then a lot of people liked his character, and then that was that. Villain status revoked. Suddenly sympathetic anti-hero. Which is fine. It's just very funny. But I wish they didn't do that for everybody. Like, I think Ant-Man almost had something going with, like, Ghost. In God, what was it? The second Ant-Man movie? Or like there was an actual bad guy of the movie. With Ghost being a catalyst to a lot of it, but her not actually being the bad guy. Also, the fact that you get to see villains fucking sacrifice something for what they you know, for their boundary, right? I don't know. Villains are so interesting, and I don't like how they're underutilized in a lot of things. I will argue that Loki is slightly different in that he was always a character who leaned more anti-hero than villain. True. Very true. Which is also fine because he had, you know, several movie arc with his with the story development. And very true. It's just like I still but they were also able to have like the anti-hero narrative with Loki through actually having him have villainry in his resume. And then from there, you know, change it up and be like, you know what? Now that you mention it, this relationship keeps not working for me. Let me change it up a little bit. Which is perfectly reasonable. Like I also kind of wish we saw more heroes become anti-heroes or villains. Like I think that's also why a lot of people were very very able to forgive Wanda. Wanda Maximoff to for become, you know, doing what she had to do as Scarlet Witch, you know? Have you listened to the full version? I haven't listened to the full version of Morley Gray yet. Oh, thank you. Let me not do it on my phone. Let me do it over here. Uh, I shall listen to it now. Have I listened to this song? This reminds me of a song, but I can't put my finger on it. It does sound mad familiar. I just can't think of it right now. Um, You've fallen in the dark romance sector of Bookgram, but that 4 pound beat, that's from Old Guard. Oh, maybe that's what it's from. So wildly familiar. I 100% feel that. I keep falling in and out of book TikTok is where I'm mostly at. And um every once in a while I'll fall into dark romance, which is also not my thing. Like good for you, but not for it's just not for me. Um and I just trying to make the algorithm make it go away. I'm like, what do I have to do, algorithm, to get you to look the other way? To just have this not be a thing you show me ever again. Okay with this down here because I do want it to be a little sparse down there. I guess this did go a little bit darker because they're just a little bit bigger of circles. Gonna trying to make this a little bit more of a darker edge. See if that helps make it look a little less in my face. Hold on while I make this not off. Level straight for me, level for me. Okay, there we go. I hate that the algorithm weighs heavily in time watching the vid rather than other engagement, because sometimes I might watch something in a this is a train wreck, but I can't look away kind of way. Yes. Oh my god, yes. So like sometimes like I just want to be nosy. I don't want to like fall into all the drama, but I just kind of want to be nosy about it. It's just like I try. If I watch something a few too many times, I will try to hit like the not interested part of it. I just want to be like, I'm not interested. Smile. I just wanted to know more in this moment. But I don't want to just watch videos that are like this all the time. Like I watched one video that had me on just like a bad side of TikTok for such a long time. It took me maybe 100 videos to like get out of it. Yeah, I wish that was possible in more videos. Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's like please show mercy. I'm begging. What else do I want? What other feature do I want to I probably should do something with this river. You know what I'm going to do with this river? Make it not my problem. The problem for the imagination is going off screen. It's Thursday. It's a Thursday, not Friday. I keep thinking it's Friday. If only, you know? I am. I'm just such a bad reader. I just don't read regular books anymore. I was much more on it when I was younger. Well, you know what I could do? I know this is off screen, but I have to make this straight. Hmm. Anyway, for me to save this. Really? We're just gonna live with it, I guess. Um, it is Friday. I fucking wish it was for me, Jamie. Never eat. It's like, have you thought about sharing that Friday? I think I think it really put a no, mine and only mine. Yours is in a few hours. All right. Fair enough, Jamie. I guess. But don't expect me to share my Friday when it's my turn. But then you'll get there and you'll ask me for my Saturday. Look, sharing is caring, Jamie. No one puts a limit to sharing. Maybe I'll make this like a walled off city over here. Not very good at doing city things. I need to just do one where all I do is come up with different ideas of how to do city things. I would like to learn how to make like a city map. That's like a whole different series of learning how to stylistically do it. I think the thing that like really put me off reading real books for a while is just reading like picking up a series of mediocre books and then turning around and reading like a series of really, really good fan fictions. Like very, very good. There was this one I read way back in the day that I still think about fairly often. It was a EO reading. Jamie. It was about the writer I found out, or the author I found out, actually worked with a traveling circus. That's what Twitch is for. Let other people do it for me. Reading in my life? No, thank you. um I found out that she actually worked for like a modern traveling circus. Like more Cirque du Soleil, less like I've forgotten the name of every single circus that has ever existed. The only word that's coming up in my head is Barnaby. Was Barnaby in something? I think. I don't remember. But it was like more Cirque du Soleil where they did a lot of aerial work and a lot of just like that sort of performative work. But not Cirque du Soleil. It was just something like that. You're feeling pretty good about your latest reading adventures? Hell yeah. What's something you've been reading recently, Prax? And the entire series, the entire fan fiction was about the pair one of them coming from just like having been doing, being kind of a veteran in being in this sort of like ramshackle circus type deal, where she was an aerialist. And then the other pair of the couple was coming in and they did. Oh God, what is it? It's not ribbon work. It's like fabric work. You know how you like there's that like long piece of fabric that hangs from the ceiling, and performers will like wrap themselves in it and they'll like um fall in very graceful and strategic manners that look a lot like they hurt, but um I forget what that's called. But that's what her specialty was, and so she got tired of doing like these corporate jobs and instead decided to branch out, and she joined the circus essentially with her sister, and together they kind of learned where their artistry came from, from within, and let their creative juices flow while dealing with the dramas of not only relationships and the monetary issues that come with being in an independent circus type of deal. But also the kind of perception of her new career as opposed to what was it, more respected um a version of her talents, and circumventing all of that. So it was a really fun read. It was a very good read. And finding out afterwards that the reason it was so good is because it was not a lived experience, but like the environment was a lived experience. And I was like, damn, look at you. Ring Barnum and Bailey. There we go. Barnaby, that's Barnum and Bailey added together with a D in the middle. Finished TJ Klune's The House in the Cerulean Sea, British dystopian urban fantasy with a sweet queer romance and snarky jokes like all hitchhikers. TJ Klune. Oh, I've seen his books before. I haven't picked them up, but I recognize the art style of the cover. For those curious, I think it'll show up on screen. Oh, you guys can let me hold it this way so you guys can see it and not see the ring light. It's like I like it. And Lucky's ancillary series, SCIF, Space Opera Epic, about an AI force to become embodied in a human instead of a ship. Ooh. Kind of what would happen if they gave Edie a spin-off. Is that her name from Mass Effect Edie? Or is that a different AI? How annoying that would be. To be an AI, an artificial intelligence, and then be like, I could have been a ship, but instead of a stupid human. It looks like a sun on the side. I should really try and come up with something to do to make it look like a city. Like, I think the issue is that I have an idea of how I want it to look, but I don't know how to accomplish it. Like, I don't know the best way to approach it, I think, is the thing. This is when we bring out a different piece of paper and we start trying it out over here. Catherine Addison's Witness for the Dead, a side character in her Goblin Emperor book, becomes the main character in a murder mystery set in the fantasy steampunk, where he can literally cast Speak with the Dead. I love that. Honestly, I feel like not enough fantasy takes advantage of speaking with the dead. And what that could mean, especially in a non game setting or a setting based off of a game. Oh god, what is that series called? Hold on. I'll look it up. There's a series called Extraordinary, in which it's a world where like everyone gets a power basically when they become of age. So around like 18ish. But our main protagonist, she does not get a power. And so the entire series is her desperately kind of like fluctuating between I don't need powers, stupid fuck powers, and also um all I want is powers. I'm and trying to find like obscure cures for why she doesn't have her powers. But one of her, I think it's her best friend. I haven't watched the series in whole, but her best friend can channel the dead. So that's what her job is. She just will call upon a dead person and they will embody her body and be able to speak through her and like move through her. Um and they speak with like his voice. Dead person, yeah, I'm out. And uh so they will like you know take over her body for a little bit for however I think it's for however long she deems. Um but like she's fully aware of what's happening in her own body and she can like stop it whenever she wants. Um but she her work it's contract based but for the most part she ends up doing like will readings where there's like disputes on, what a will says. And there's some very funny scenes of people like disputing it and then her just being like, "Oh, hi, hello everyone." And then it's like, "All right, I'm just going to sit here and do this over here." What the hell do you read over there? It's a TV series. It's called Extraordinary. Um and she will then be like, "Oh, hi, hello everyone," and then sits down and will embody the person who will come in and be like, "Ah, what the fuck." It's like, what part of my will did you not understand? I fucking left everything to this one, you old bat or old asshole bitch, whatever. And it's very funny. All right, so you know what? We're just gonna start because I can see a grid pattern in my head, but I don't think just like drawing out a grid would be and then filling it in with buildings is kind of the vibe here. But oh, even better. Like it's not in a creepy way. Um, like there's some really sweet scenes where she allows in the spirit of the No Power's best friend, dad, to give No Powers some advice and stuff like that about it all. And very sweet, to be honest with you. But like the things you could do with like a speak with dead ability go vastly unexplored, I think sometimes. Or get stuck in this this can only be good or can only be dead. Sounds drop dead hilarious. Oh my god. I can't believe you've done this. Also, just for everyone to know, this playlist that's playing right now, it's called Latinos in Honda Civics at 3 a.m. Matt sent me this one because Matt knows I really like just hyper specifically titled playlist. How funny is Kickball Dad? Look him up. What is he gonna do? Kick me? I need to take a drink of water. I need to get a new top for my cup. It's leaking and I drink now. Which I can't express to you how inconvenient that is. Is Kickball Dad just Mark Cuban? Oh, that's a throwback. The dude, yeah. It's some dude that follows the dolphins. I was just like, he looks kind of familiar. And then I saw his dolphins video. Yeah, I've seen those. Kickball Dad. Good year for Dolphins, Dad. Good years for Dolphins fans, honestly. I don't think they're in Super Bowl contention this year, but they're definitely in playoff contention. And that's saying a lot for them. But he has every sentence. Look it up. Yeah, it's like just look it up. He's very funny. You're very right about that. I do like him. Sports parents are very funny. Can be very funny. Let me amend that statement. No, fuck it, we'll leave it like that. Why not? We're just experimenting. I don't think I'm happy with this, but we're leaning into it to see what we can do with it and see if we can find something we like from it. The hard thing about this one is there's gonna be a lot that has to be pre-planned. because I don't do it with pencil and then go over it with pen. It's all in one. How would I do buildings then, though? Oh, we're playing the what if game. It's like, what if? There's this project that somebody did. It's one of the very few things uh that I'm not wildly angry about how they did it. It's a 3D reconstruction of the capital of the Aztec Empire called it's called Tenochtitlan, which is it's basically Mexico City, LDF now. But Tenochtitlan was the Tenochtitlan. I can't. It's Tenochtitlan, 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 and Tenochtitlan. I think that was 10. After 10 margaritas. And so Tenochtitlan is very unique in the way that it's a city made in the middle of a lake. And there was a lot of technological advances made by the Aztec populace to make the city kind of work. But this 3D model of it gives you kind of an insight as to what the city might have looked like back then, and then it compares it to like what it looks like now. And it's quite possibly one of my favorite things I've ever seen in my life. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking about it because it looks very much like a grid system, right? Trying to find the past and present, yeah. Here, let me turn that off. I'll give you guys the experience of what that actually looks like. Is it that one? This one? That one? Oh, it's not going to show up because all of these are above, huh? Turn that off. And then I do this one. There we go. Then, oh gosh, where are you hidden? There you are. Nope, that's not you. Oh, you guys can see yourself. Hi, chat. Where the frick do I have this guy? No, it's not Twitch alerts. Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I know it's just called Media Source. I know I didn't rename you. Did I close the thing you were in? Oh, I did. You're in decoration. Found it. What if history is actually really cool? What if it's actually pretty cool? But as I'm doing this, I'm thinking about oh, you guys can't see this. I can move my keyboard closer. Where's my mouse? Here we go. And so it's this project by this guy named Thomas something. What is it? Thomas Cole. And it's a portrait of Tenochtitlan. And so this is a reimagination of what the Nochitlan would look like. And oh my god, what are you called? It's like Papa Papu Papu Katwat. Oh god. No one tell the god of that that mountain that I can't remember the name of it. This is the one that was spewing out lava or spewing out a bunch of smoke I think last year, beginning of last year. This is like what I have in my head. I have this like grid system. I'm trying to think like the different sizes. I guess I should add like maybe trees or stuff in the middle. But it's very cool looking at it because he did a phenomenal job because it very much looks just like a photo of the area, but it definitely is not. But this is what I'm thinking in my head as I do this, just like the grid system. But the city obviously very unique because it deals in a lot of canals because it's built on top of a lake. Yeah, it looks like a photo. It's crazy to kind of just like wrap your head around the idea that this is an imagining of a snapshot of what these places would look like, including like the pyramids and stuff like that. And also that this is built upon the Lefe. And also doing a phenomenal job of showing what the pyramids were for and why they were designed in the way they are in Mexico as opposed to how they are in Egypt and other places with pyramids. And it's very cool. It's a very good project by Thomas Cole. You can definitely sit here and look at it for a while. And you could definitely see where things get repeated and stuff like that. But imagining like this photo, like this fish islands, very Google images, very Google Maps, but B, not real. 3D reconstruction. And I think it has a lot to do with how he does the horizon also. This one also one of my favorites. Tlatelolco and Tenochtitlan. Tlatelolco is this. And like this with like a very good view of the mountain range. But a little further down, there's a past versus present. So so this is what it looks like, would have looked like back in the day towards what it looks like now, what modern day Tenochtitlan or Mexico City looks like. And just watching the things that have stuck around and the things that like and how they've expanded kind of just blows my mind just a little bit. It's one of my favorite projects I've seen in a long time. But also gives me a really good insight on how cities are laid out. And what is in my mind as I'm trying to figure out how the fuck to do these cities. Again, all on top of a lake. All of the lift is on top of a lake. And like seeing how downtown looks like now versus then. Because the pyramids aren't there anymore. If you've ever seen Los Gritos on Mexican Independence Day, where you hear the president saying the gritos, y grito para los indígenas y para la justicia, and all of that stuff. And then he rings the bells for el grito. That's here. And this is where all the people are situated. My mind works like that Simpsons episode of the cymbal smashing monkeys on the hammers. This is also a really cool one. The beacon, obviously, over here. And, you see the city off in the background versus, what it looks like now. This one truly shows you the expansion of the capital. And the disappearance of this lake that's still down there. The lake, take my money. Also, this is such a cool one. There's no before and after on this one, but I just like the idea that this person, Thomas Cole, had an idea of doing one in the nighttime so you could see like all the lights from the various fires in all the places turned on. That was a really cool little thing to add. The nighttime view. Have a good night, Prax. Thank you. Have a good one. And thank you for telling me about your books. I'll definitely be looking a few of them up. But yeah, Thomas Cole did a phenomenal job of doing this all. Big fan. But this is what's in what I keep imagining in my head. Because it's almost like a modern version of what I imagine. Because cities were laid out in a grid-like pattern because we had a lot of canals and like old school plumbing. We had because there was like basically plumbing in the Aztec Empire, especially in the DF or in the Nochitlan. Which is why things are kind of laid out like they are. And all the floating gardens and stuff like that. I don't know how to make it look visually interesting. Myself, I don't know how to make it visually interesting without it looking just like a bunch of little blocks inside other little blocks. Chinampas. I always forget what they're called. Oh, I just pressed so many buttons. Hopefully none of them important. All right, this is where we go back. We're going to turn that on. Look at my boy again. Look at my son. Pride is not the word I'm looking for. And webcam. There we go. I'm gonna move you back to once you came. Back to my very rudimentary pizza over here. That's all I had to do, right? There's nothing else I needed to turn on. That's still off. That's still off. Is this game over yet? Oh, close game. Let me bring back chat down here so I can look at it while I'm down here doing things. Maybe I just need to make it more dense. It needs to be bigger. I don't have this unmuted, right? Okay, good. Oh. They would be very upsetty spaghetti with me. Are you going to do OG Friday squads now the map is in for the season? Am I going to do OG Friday Oh, Fortnite. I have uh never really played Fortnite, so I don't know. I would go ahead and say no, but never say never. I know Nilly likes playing Fortnite every now and then. I need to like do things to this to make it look interesting. This is our experimentation phase of now I have to just do a lot of things. To see if I can get any visual interest from just doing squiggles here and there on them. Some more purposeful, some less purposeful. You played a lot of Fortnite till Destiny grabbed you and never let you go. I feel like that's how it was. I feel like a ton of like don't get me wrong, I watched a lot of Fortnite. I watched people play Fortnite a lot. I just never got into it. Cuz I didn't start watching it until um after it stopped being easy mode. And then I never jumped on to like learn how to build. And honestly, it felt very tedious to even learn to do so. Because I would have started playing Fortnite shortly either before or after I started playing Apex Legends. Because Apex Legends, talking about things that had me until I found Destiny 2. I played a lot of Apex Legends until Destiny 2 found me. And then I had skipped over and played Destiny uh, a ton and kind of dropped Apex Legends. To be fair, Apex started being like really boring for me also. I've realized, yeah, I was in Apex. I have realized I'm a one game play carry. A one game carry. Like, I do not blame you. I too was a one game Gary. It isn't until recent history that I've started like branching out and playing multiple games at once. Um, but I also was saying earlier that I am someone who likes to just find a game and have that game be like my main game while I play like other things every once in a while. Everyone's like, try this, try that. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna just play Destiny. No, I feel that wholeheartedly. Like, I went from, where did I go from? I went from playing a lot of Minecraft to a lot of Rocket League to a lot of, no, I think it was Minecraft, Dota 2, Rocket League, Apex Legends, Destiny 2, purely PvP Destiny 2, because I played it with my friend, to transitioning into PvE Destiny while playing with other people. Then I had a little bit of a Hunt Showdown kick, where I played a ton of Hunt Showdown with another group of friends, and another Destiny 2 lol. And then a lot of Destiny again. I think I have over 2,000 hours on Destiny, 1,000 on Titan, on just console too. Weird PC people. I think I have over 5,000 on Destiny at this point. I think easily I have over 5,000. With like pretty good I just saw how much I do. Yeah, mine is mostly Hunter. I have a few. I have like maybe 100 hours between my other two characters because I have played like all the especially on my Warlock. I have played all of the campaigns on my Warlock. I haven't done all of them on my Titan. I've done some of them on my Titan. But for the majority of it, I am on Hunter. I just don't find the other ones fun. I just don't find the other ones as fun as Hunter. I think I don't like, I'm just gonna abandon that because I already don't like it. Not really concerned about this wall, so it's just whatever. But I probably should practice not doing it. I was strictly Titan for like the first 3 seasons before I even thought about making characters. I made one of each. Oh god, let's see if I remember what they are. My Hunter is an Awoken. I think my Warlock is an Exo. And I think my Titan is a human. Because I wanted to try one of each. I wanted to have one human, one Awoken, and one Exo. Because when I first made the characters, I didn't know. And then I made a Hunter, a Warlock, and a Titan because I didn't know which of the 3 classes I was going to enjoy. However, you didn't get to experience this because this was after your time, I think. But I started playing Destiny 2 after it went free to play because I had a friend invite me to play because he was looking for a group to do a raid with because he wanted to raid because he heard all about it. Oh my gosh. I heard all about it all about the raids in Destiny 2, so he wanted to play it. And it was free to play, so it was easier to find people. And your Titan is Exo, Human, Hunter, and Warlock. Warlock on Via, but let's face it, Millworks ain't good to fashion. I mean, fair enough. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. I know I think they might all be female characters, but I'm not sure. And so when I was doing the raid, or for the raid, it was going to be Eater of Worlds, and there's a lot of jumping in Eater of Worlds. And so I was recommended, because it was one of like my first times playing Destiny, I was recommended to play a Hunter because it's easier to like obviously come in from other games because I was a big platform fiend. I really like doing platforming games. And so double jumping is like second nature. And I needed to get geared up I wanted to get geared up to do the raid. So I would get on and I would play on my Hunter so I could get armor and things to get my level up and to get some better guns. Because this was before the age of mods being very important on armor. All that really mattered was like on Hunter, all that really mattered was your mobility stat and recovery, and maybe intellect if you were into that kind of thing. And so because of that, I played a lot on my hunter, and then my hunter got ahead of my other characters. Because I didn't have time to level them all up at the time. But I did play a fair amount of Warlock to start with. And then I didn't. Then I became less interested with that idea. But that's how I got onto Hunter, and then I kind of just stayed on Hunter. Because I started wanting to do dungeons and things. And I simply did not, and other raids, and I simply did not want to learn how to jump on other characters. Because my best friend at the time was on a Warlock, and watching him struggle, I was like, that's not it, fam. That's not for me. Like, happy for you, not for me. Warlock floofing, yeah. Um, yeah, Warlock floof. Yeah, I am not fucking, I was not doing that. Not like in front of people that I didn't know very well, you know? I didn't want to be the last one getting frustrated not being able to jump. Like, I remember I would get on my other characters and I'd get on and I'd like fly into the Leviathan. Because the scepter, because one of the very first things was one of those Cabal launchers to get to the top of the area. But like they were real fucky. They weren't easy to like actually make your way to the very top of the steps of the very long staircase. A lot of the time you would just float, and then you would fall straight down, and then you would still have to end up flying or walking the rest of the stairs. And sometimes it would just straight up kill you. And it was a lot easier to die or not make it on Warlock or Titan. Though it wasn't easy on Hunter either. And so I would get on to my other characters and I would try to learn how to jump with those characters, and I would just always fail. And then I would just like get frustrated and I would leave. And also like the steps were also really like large because they were made for like Callus and not us. It was great. But it's why I ended up not doing it. I didn't want to learn how to jump. The truth of the matter is I didn't actually want to learn how to jump. I have other reasons now for not wanting. I have other reasons for not wanting to play those characters nowadays, but back then it was purely I just didn't want to learn how to jump. I mean, fair. trying to think of how to make this a reed cobblestone. Oh my gosh. I just I just popped my finger when I wasn't expecting it. My fingies are getting cold. Sorry, that's why I keep doing this. Thank you. My fingies keep getting cold, which is why I keep taking them away from. I keep stopping. It's starting to get cold. Although it's actually starting to get warmer, but it's still cold. I don't know how to make this reed cobblestone. Yeah, just do things like that. Do that. Maybe like I do. Like little dots like that. Maybe that'll work. Lines and dots here and there. It looks a little bit like that like grid pattern on like metal, kind of like on toolboxes. You'll see it sometimes that you put on the back of trucks. But also like the grippy stuff. the raised bumps, so it's a little bit grippier on like scaffolding and things like that. Kind of reminds me of that. I should do that too. I should have some sideways and things like that. At least it's better than whatever the fuck this is. And honestly easier to do in the long term. Like I said, I didn't know what I wanted to play today. Like I wanted to play Vault Hunters, but I don't know, my heart's just not really in it right now. And I set up the settings for this camera and kind of how I was gonna put the webcam on my. Like I said, it's like a chore if you play a game and it's not actually what you want to play. Yeah, exactly. That's why I was just like, I don't wanna force anything. Because right now I'm still playing like 7 Days in the background, but like I said, it's kind of just like my chill. I don't chill just to do something. Head empty, no thought kind of game. But even then, it's like sometimes that feels like a chore. But like there's actual things that feel like a chore in that game, so it makes it a little easier. Ooh, what if I do like something like this? Uh I and so yeah, so I set all of this up. Yeah, so it's technically, I mean, it's a ring light, but it's not meant to be a ring light. It's meant to do this, like POV, you are me. It's so you could set it up and you could do small things. For me, for example, it was taking apart this keyboard so I could clean out the keys and the switches, because I accidentally dumped a bunch of soda on it once, and luckily it didn't get much on the board. It was mostly on the keys and stuff, but it was a pain in the ass to clean, and having like my head on the have to be like so close looking at this small little thing, it became like it hurt my back and my neck. I was sore for days. So I found out that these things existed, like a magnifying glass, and this one just happened to come with a ring light attached to it, so I could better see the things. And when I was doing this back in the day when I used to do this, I had a real jank setup with to get my webcam to work. And this time I luckily, because it has this opening here, which is technically a magnifying glass, it's easier for you guys to see. And for me to set this up. And I set it up over the weekend, I think, and with plans to like do a stream on Monday. I think I was gonna do like an early day stream. But my mother was returning from a vacation, and I had to go pick her up, and so I just ended up, and her bus ended up coming up so late. Oh my god, it came in so late. She was supposed to get here she was supposed to get to the terminal at like 4:30. We didn't end up leaving until 6:30, so like, you know. So my entire afternoon went there. So I didn't get home until like 7. And I was like, yeah, I'm over it. I'm not in the mood for it. Like I'm in the poor mood having to wait so long. Yeah, exactly. If it doesn't work, if it works, don't change it. Exactly. That's why Bean should have held. He should have scrambled and thrown that. That's a shame. I kind of want the Titans to win. It's 16:20, 50 seconds left on the clock. 4th and 7, Tennessee's ball. They could still win this. But 4th and 7, timeout Steelers. They just have to make it work. I'm surprised he went for the timeout right now. I guess ruin their momentum. But yeah, and sometimes usually I don't actually stream on Thursdays because I am either raiding or I'm watching the game. Like I said, I didn't really feel like playing Destiny today or this week. We'll see when I get back into the swing of things. I think when we get a good statement, I'll feel better about the state of things. What are you doing? God, he's so bad. I don't know. Who are you? I don't know who the quarterback is on this fucking Titans team, but they're trash. I do not like this guy. It's too short. Like, not anywhere close. Let's see where this fly goes. Oh, they got a holding call. Oh, he grabbed him, yeah. That was a terrible throw. But he got saved by the holding call. They're giving Tennessee a chance on this one. 1st and 10. What a dream. 49 seconds on the clock. Sorry, I have to watch the end of this game. I can't just not watch the end. If you guys are interested in watching this on Prime Video, twitch.tv/Prime Video. Fucking hell, bro. Throw the ball well, Levis. What's his name? William Levis? Fucking what a terrible QB. It's like I'm watching the 49ers game all over again. And I thought I could do map making while I have the game in the background. The game's not. Neither of these teams are the greatest teams in the league right now, so it's not going to be the most exciting game in the world, but I do like watching the beginning and the end of the game, essentially. Well, beginning after halftime and the end of the game, because that's when I feel things are are a little bit more interesting. You get like the feel, the pulse of how the game's working. Sometimes I won't even watch a Thursday game because Thursday games are fucking weird to watch, man. Football, American football, by the way, is what I'm watching. The Thursday game. I like watching the Thursday game also because it's on Prime. Or it's like, it's paid for by Prime Vision by Amazon. And honestly, it's pretty good for people who don't understand too much about American football but would like to learn more about it. Because they have one that's called Prime Vision, and it's fucking crazy. Well, no one's even going to cover him, huh? That's a free first down. Because it's crazy. So they have this I don't know if it's AI or machine learning, where they have on the screen, they highlight looking at the position all the players are in, they highlight the route and the play that they believe it's going to be. So if it's like if they're lined up for like the blitz, it'll tell you like this is probably going to be a blitz, and then it shows you like the route the runner or the ball is probably going to take because of it. And it highlights like who's holding the ball and stuff like that. It's crazy. Oh my god. They're like it's actually kind of nutty. It's a little scary, TVH. But I think it's gonna allow for some really interesting developments over the years. Like that it's a fucking insane game they did for their London game at the beginning of the season, where it was in conjunction with, I think it was Nickelodeon, and they oh no, it's Disney. It has to be Disney. It was in conjunction with Disney, and they made they gave all the players like their own like little models, and it was a recreation of the game in real time, but it was a 3D game in the style of Pixar's Toy Story. It was the weirdest thing to watch. It was absolutely wild watching like people get crossed in their little avatars. It was so dumb. I loved it. But I saw a lot of like dads and parents watching their watching the game with their kids, and their kids like being super into it, and they were like super happy about it. Damn. And game over. He threw a pick. Shout out to Will Levis for just not being here for prime time. It was just a wild game. I feel if this got really busy, I don't think I could do this cobblestone and do this to the buildings. Not all of them. Maybe I'd leave some of them empty. And just do all the little shapes I was doing. Let me try something else over here. RIP this game. I thought this game was going to be a little bit more interesting at the end. I don't know the Tennessee Titans um I don't know their quarterback like that. It turns out not great. Maybe I do less with maybe I do less of trying to like add little squiggles in the buildings for like windows and doorways and do more of like trying to highlight or like bold certain parts of the building. And maybe that will give a little bit of visual interest without making it busy. That might work. I don't really have room left in this like what do I do like that? And then I do like that. Like on this one. I do something like that. Maybe that will add a little bit more interest into what I'm doing. I think it's an idea. I just have to do it in a different example. Actually, let me just do it over here while I have this pretty much empty. Despite this being busy for different reasons. Kind of look like credit cards, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it does give a little bit of visual interest though, and if I have a lot of them, that might make it interesting. Maybe I do the same thing I do with the trees and I just choose one side and I just highlight that side always. Also need to remember not to put the bottom on all these buildings. Actually, I think that works out pretty well. I think if I don't put like the bottom of some of these buildings, it'll also add a little bit of visual intrigue. No, I actually like that. I'm actually a fan of that. Do the same thing I do for trees and just add a little bit of visual interest on the side. Ideally, I'd like to do the little hashes inside of these buildings. Or like for the shading on trees and things like that. And I kind of get it done, but it doesn't really work out because it's just too fat of a tip. I do have other thinner pens, but I just didn't want to pull them out today. But I think I like that. I think I like the idea of just shading them the same way I do uh doing the same way I do the trees. And I always have the sun coming in from this side, from the left. So the shadow's always on the right. That's just my rule of thumb. It makes it easier to shade things. Oh man, big stretch though. I think I'm gonna call it there for the night though. Thank you guys so much for watching. Why do I have a Discord message? Oh, my friend. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Today is Thursday. I might stream tomorrow. It depends how I feel. I've been kind of feeling poopy lately, like aside from just emotionally, just like physically I haven't been feeling great. So that has been one of the reasons I've kind of been a little MIA also. But This is a good little like warm up, get started, do things again. Even though I talked a lot and I didn't draw at the same time, that's on me. So sorry for not keeping things visually interesting for you guys while I was talking, but I might stream tomorrow, I might not, we'll see. Next week I'm hoping to be back up and running as close to 100% as I possibly can. It's gonna be warm again next week, so I'm sure that'll help out. But thank you guys. So I just get like really cozy and I just kind of like want to lay in bed and be like warm and cozy when it's cold, you know? Especially when it's still a novelty. When it's no longer a novelty, I lose that feeling. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to be nice to each other. Don't forget to be compassionate and I'll see you guys later. Bye.